Right, so some golfers never take one of these. Some golfers take divots so big that if you fell in it, you might never be seen again. In today's video, I'm going to show you why it's so important, but most key, the 2 skills you need to do to take the perfect divot every single time. Well, there are 2 key skills that you need to be able to control if you're going to set up to the golf ball, put a good swing on it, hit ball and then turf, and take the perfect divot. So a lot of golfers either take no divot, take a massive divot, take the divot in the wrong place. So what are the 2 skills that you need to be able to control in order to hit ball and then turf and take that perfect divot? Well, the first one is you need to be able to control how low the bottom of the arc is. Because if I were to swing back with the club 2-3 inches above the ground, you can see I wouldn't make contact with the golf ball at all. Whereas if I swung back too low, the ground would get in the way too early and the divot would start way behind the golf ball. So I think for a lot of golfers initially, it's actually just they're not used to touching the ground. Or when they do touch the ground, because they touch it in the wrong place, that's where they struggle. So the first thing I would say is, whether you're on the driving range or on the golf course like I am here, actually just feel that you take a divot at all. So we can see there, I brushed the grass, but I didn't take a divot. So that would have been a little bit too high. That'd be great. And that felt that my club got a little bit into the ground, but not excessively deep. And you can pop the ball on a high tee and go gradually lower and lower. I've done another video on that particular drill, so I'll put that up in the corner. And you can always click across and check that out. So like I said, the first skill is getting the bottom of the arc low enough in order to make contact with the ground. Now the second skill you need to be able to do is control where the lowest point of the arc is. So when you look face on, the club's moving in that circular motion around the body. So the club moves up, moves down, reaches its lowest point, and then travels back up. So when the ball's on the floor, you want that lowest point of the golf swing to be after the golf ball. And I think a great way to feel where you would be at impact would be to pop the club on the ground, set up, and then feel that you move your weight forward and let your body start to turn out into the ground. And you'll feel how the club almost starts to press down into the ground. So if you can create more of that kind of movement, straight away there you could see that my divot was after the golf ball. Now when I talk about low point though, this is a really, really important point. If you're on grass, the lowest point of your swing is actually the deepest part of the divot, not necessarily where the divot starts. So you can see that one there for me isn't an overly deep divot, but the lowest point is pretty much in the middle of the divot. So I always think a great little drill, you can do it with a line on the range mat or a tee on the golf course, is just scuff a little line on the ground that's going to be the golf ball. You're going to set up with the club by there, swing to the top, and as you start your downswing, you're going to move your weight towards the target and swing down. So you can see there, I've missed the line. My divot started maybe a couple of inches after, but then the middle of the divot is maybe another inch, inch and a half after. So again, do that. Again, that divot starting well after the line. So then if I can stand up to the golf ball and feel that I make my normal backswing, and just as the club's starting to get to the top, I'm going to start moving towards the target, turn out the way. I should be able to stand up then. Strike the ball great, and definitely there, ball first, little bit of turf. Definitely for me, and comment below, you might be like this, I would say my divots aren't generally deep enough. They're always after the golf ball, so my low point's always ahead, but I don't always get the bottom of the arc quite low enough into the ground. So predominantly my bad one will be a little bit of a thin, but most golfers get that low point behind, so then the incentive is that they miss the ground, the club travels back up, and they top the ball. So like I said, these 2 skills are so important. So I'm going to get set again, get the weight moving into that lead leg and feel that I get the bottom of my swing a little bit lower on this one. That felt even better. And I know from my TrackMan numbers, when I get that right, the shaft starts leaning forward a little bit more. I deal off the club, hit the ball nice and pure, but hit the ball a little bit further as well. And it is nice if you can get that little contact. So I've got the line just behind the golf ball. Going to focus on moving that weight. And it really does. When you get it right, it feels so simple. But I think most golfers don't understand that concept of the depth of the arc or where the low point is. And if you're not good at both of those, I mean, a lot of golfers actually aren't good at either of them, hitting the ball well from the ground is really, really tough. But if you get good, initially just touching the ground at all, and then touching the ground in the right place, you're going to start taking a perfect divot, hitting ball and then turf, and really striking some amazing shots from the ground. Right now, I need to go and replace all those divots.